This brilliant text, the German ideology. The German ideology is, in fact, Marx and Engels trying to settle accounts, engage in a debate with Hegel and the young Hegelians. Yes. So what is the German ideology? What is the German ideology? What is the German ideology? Well, first, what is ideology? What is ideology? We've been talking about ideology. You're at the back. What was your name? You're right at the back. What's your name? Luma. With an L. Good, Luma, yes. What do you think, Agnes? You were talking a minute ago about what? Do you remember? What did you say?
That argumental suffocating by the ideology of American dream.
Ideology of the American dream. The American ideology is the ideology of the American dream. You know, it's amazing, this word dream. The American dream. I mean, these candidates, the American dream. The American dream. The American dream. Okay. And what is the American dream? 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 There was boom, bust, dream, nightmare. What's the American dream? What's the American dream, Jason?
Like, in theory, any individual, regardless of where they start out in life, they work hard, they do all the right things, they will, be rewarded materially.
Is that the American dream? If you are devoted, if you work hard, then indeed you can make your way in life. That is the American dream. That's the American ideology. It's the American ideology. We're going to talk about German ideology, but the American ideology is the idea that if you work hard, you're really committed, then you can make your way in life. Right?
If you work hard?
If you work hard and you are devoted to some goal, you will achieve that goal. That is what we call the American idea. But what is ideology as such then? What is ideology as such? What is ideology as such? What is an ideology? Any idea what an ideology is? Yes. Are you Marianne by chance?
Yes.
Wow, that's a good one. Okay, Marianne?
I think that an ideology is the belief that your value system is what drives what you do. So your progressive change or what drives...
All right, so an ideology is perhaps a value system, a belief system, right? And that belief system has real effects. If you believe it, has real effects on your life. It has real effects. Belief system. What else can we say? Is it any old belief system? What is it about this belief system? Sonny?
I think it's what you hold in your ideals.
Yes, it's holding it's an ideal. But is this belief system, we call it ideology, is this belief system, is it true? Ideology. It's a belief system. It's a system of beliefs. Is it true? Our ideology is true. Matthew.
I think that the idea of an ideology is not necessarily grounded in material outcomes or material. Sometimes it's to use kind of a controversial debate, like the idea of creationism. Some might say that's an ideology because you're saying, well, God made everything, but it can't necessarily be proven. It's just.
So sometimes the belief system can't be proven. What do you say? What do you think? As sociologists, do we believe in the American ideology? Do we believe that is true? The people, Hannah.
I think the question is who you're asking who it's true for. So if you're saying for others it might not be true, but for the person believing that ideology, it could certainly be true.
Yes, but if we're trying to... Look, the American ideology makes the claim that if you really work hard enough, you will manage to achieve your goals. What have sociologists said about that? Lauren?
Well, I was going to say, I think ideology can be... It is what you want it to be. It can be true for some people, and it cannot be true for other people. It's just the way somebody looks at it, the way they interpret it.
Yes. You're bringing out of here. Yes. Yeah, I think that somebody who believes in an ideology is committed to it and believes that it is true. But if one stands aside and looks at the claim of the ideology, namely in this case... Did somebody got a parrot into there? Is this a new form of protest? Good, right up. Yes. Ideology, from the standpoint of sociologists, what's the opposite of ideology? Ideology as opposed to empirical evidence, as opposed to Tracy?
I was going to say that sociologists would say that there's outside factors sometimes that prevent people from getting to that goal. And so it's set by a dominant class.
Okay, now you're moving straight. That's very good. Set by a dominant class. Why is it set by a dominant class?
Because they're the ones that make the ideals.
But, we'll talk about that. It's a set of beliefs that people are genuinely believe, but nevertheless, as sociologists, as scientists, we often believe that it is not correct. There are many factors that make it very difficult for people to achieve their goals precisely because of the why? Because of the maldistribution of resources that some people, it is true that some people are able to make it from the working class and from rags to riches. But in fact, if you look at the science of social mobility, which we do as sociologists, we find that in fact most people never realize their goals if they are coming from the lower tiers of society. And so I think an ideology has a kernel of truth, but it's an elusive set of ideas. Illusionary, if I really want to say, illusionary set of ideas. There's a certain, in the idea of ideology, when we use the word ideology, we are saying it's a belief system that has an illusionary characteristic. There's a certain illusion about it, that somehow we can all make it. Sociologists, when they use the word ideology, are suggesting that it's not entirely true. But as Tracy said, this ideology often comes from dominant groups who generate ideology. That's what Marx and Engels say. Dominant groups inside generate ideology. What's the function of that ideology then? Is Kristen?
To get the productive classes to work harder.
Well, all right. To get the productive classes to work harder, it is used to justify and obscure certain parts of reality. The focus on individual mobility obscures the existence, shall we say, of classes, of genders, of races, obscures those social categories, and also at the same time justifies the existing order, because we can all make it in this order. That's what the ideology says. But ideologies is very crucial. Very crucial. They grip people. People genuinely believe them. That's what you were saying before, that it's true for some people. The ideology has to be true. For an ideology grips people. So it's a coherent belief system, usually coherent belief system, based on an illusionary set of ideas that justifies usually patterns of domination, and obscures certain parts of reality, and most importantly, it actually grips people. Actually, people really believe in the ideology. People genuinely believe, are committed to the American ideology. So that's what an ideology is, and we've had an example. We had the example of the so-called American ideology, that is the belief that we can really make it no matter from what quarter of society we come from. But what is the German ideology? What is the belief system based on illusory set of ideas that is the German ideology? What is the feature, the characteristic of the German ideology?
It's the ideas or the bonds, or the young Hegelians would say, the chains that hold human society together. Yeah. That's religion and so forth, are the reason why people come together and act as a social unit.
Right. Yes, that ideas are the cement of society. Yes, anything else? Alex?
I think it's a direct attack from Hegel. An attack from what Hegel talks about, that concepts move history forward. Ideas move history forward. I think that Marx...
I want to get Marx. I want to know what the German ideology is. That's what you just said. Thank you very much. We'll come to Marx in a minute. But when the book is entitled The German Ideology, what is the German ideology? It is first and foremost indeed, what Simeon says, it's this stress on focus on ideas and how ideas are cemented. And more important, what I like to say, it is that ideas are what propel history. History is what? The unfolding of ideas. That's the Hegelian idea. History is the unfolding of what he calls sometimes the spirit. It is human beings becoming conscious of themselves as a collected entity. It's human beings developing a collective self-consciousness. So history is what? History is the unfolding of the spirit, is the unfolding of consciousness. That is what Hegel thought, and that is what Marx calls the German ideology. What does Smith think history is? It is the unfolding of what? The vision of Weber. Thank you very much, Jane. Hegel says history is the unfolding of consciousness, of ideas. Every great theorist has an understanding of what history is. It's not just a bunch of facts that you read in your history books, but it is has a much more fundamental vision about the world. And for the German ideology is therefore, for Marx and Engels' point of view, the illusion that ideas make history. The illusion, because of course Marx and Engels are say, of course, it's not ideas that push history forward, but other things that push history forward. Anything but ideas. So ideas in the end do figure in their account. Otherwise they wouldn't bother writing all these texts. Yes. Okay, so the German ideology is the illusory view that ideas make history. And you can see that on page 147. 147. I love this passage. I love lots of passages from the German ideology, but this one is the opening passage. Where's Tiana? Not here. Where's Mari? No, he's not here either. No, he's disappeared in this class. I learned all these things and made him appear on me. That's really, that's sowing the seeds of the destruction of my mind. Okay, alright, I will read it. I will read it. Right, starting at the beginning. As we hear from German ideologists, he's being very sarcastic here. Very sarcastic. As we hear from German ideologists, Germany has in the last few years gone through an unparalleled revolution. The decomposition of the Hegelian philosophy, which began with Strauss, has developed into a universal ferment, into which all the powers of the past are swept. In a general chaos, mighty empires have arisen only to meet with immediate doom. Heroes have emerged momentarily only to be hurled back into obscurity by bolder and stronger rivals. It was a revolution beside which the French Revolution was mere child's play, a world struggle beside which struggles of the Diadochi appear insignificant. Principles ousted one another, heroes and the mountain overthrew each other with unheard of rapidity, and in the 3 years from 1842 to 1845, more of the past was swept away in Germany than at other times in 3 countries. 3 centuries. And all this is supposed to have taken place in the realm of pure thought. Pure thought. What is he saying here? What are they saying here, Marx and Engels? And all this is supposed to take place in the realm of pure thought. Luma.
If it was pure thought, true thought, how would all that happen?
Indeed, if it was pure thought, how can these incredible transformations have taken place in somebody's head? In people's heads? Basically what Marx and Engels are saying is these German philosophers, they're so cut off from the world, so separated from the people, that they think that their ideas are so important that they make actual revolutions. But in fact, Marx and Engels say they make no revolutions at all. These are just the empty, discursive arguments of one phrase against another. It doesn't transform the real world. But the German ideologists, the philosophers, think because they are philosophers, because they're cut off from the world, they think that their ideas are so important that they can in fact generate revolutions like the French Revolution, which of course involved human beings engaged in struggle, dying, committing themselves to a vision of the future. More than just revolutions in pure thought. Yes, very good. So, he's joking and he's laughing, he's contemptuous and scoffing at these Hegelians who think that revolutions are made in pure thought. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yes. You see, Hegel starts out with a very different place than Smith, indeed, from Marx. Hegel starts out with a supposition that human beings are first and foremost. What are human beings first and foremost? Neil, what are human beings first and foremost for Hegel, do you think? Given what I've just been saying. For Hegel, for these philosophers, human beings are first and foremost consciousness. They're first of all thinkers. Rational, reflective human beings. That's what we are, rational and reflective. Rational. For Smith, who are we first and foremost? What distinguishes from animals, according to Smith? The propensity to truck, barter, and exchange. We are creative. We are human beings who transform nature. We are makers of things. We are engaged in the division of labor. We truck, barter, and exchange. For Hegel, we are first and foremost. What distinguishes us as human beings is that we think, that we are reflective, and we are rational. Yes, and that is why, of course, Smith sees history as the unfolding of the division of labor, whereas Hegel sees it as the unfolding of consciousness. Now, we have a group of people called the young Hegelians. The young Hegelians are very critical of Hegel because they don't like this sort of religious spirituality that's implied, that is bound up and embedded in Hegel's philosophy, the unfolding of spirit. And they want to do it, they bring Hegel down from heaven to earth. They bring Hegel down from heaven to earth. They want to focus on what? Not on some ethereal spirit, but they then focus on what? On human beings. They want to create a vision of history that is, quote, human-centered, man-centered. They develop a humanism. Right? So they turn Hegel on his head. They bring Hegel down from heaven to earth. And they worship no longer a spirit, but human beings. But not just human beings as such. It is what they worship, what they glorify. It's the potentiality of human beings, what Feuerbach calls the species being. It is the capacity of human beings to develop all sorts of varied abilities and talents. So the young Hegelians think they've been very critical of Hegel, but instead of talking about spirit and consciousness, they're now going to talk about human beings. They're developing a philosophy, a view of the world through as a man-centered, humanist view of the world. Yes. So, the question is this. What do Marx and Engels think of these young Hegelians? What do Marx and Engels think of these young Hegelians? Yes, Annie.
You can say equally,